Hello everyone, welcome back. As I said in the last video, I'm going to be talking about dark physics. And no, not dark matter, dark physics. So let's just get right to it because I know you want to hear it because otherwise you wouldn't click on this. So today we are going to be talking about space in dark physics. Why? Because you might know like from Einstein's theory of his theories that space-time can be bent, that it isn't static, it can be molded, shaped, changed, and well, that is right, but there is a question, a very simple one which no one yet answered. Why do things move through space? Like really, why can I move my hand? Because I exert force onto it. I tell it to move so it does, because I have enough energy to make it. But have you ever thought about that even just the simple act of moving is weird? Because space is not supposed to have anything, basically. If it's just space, it's just space. It doesn't have a size, it doesn't have a rigid grid or anything like that. It just sort of is. But is that really the case? That doesn't make sense if it can be infinitely small. Why? Because, well, then, how are you supposed to transport? I mean, if it really was, would I be able to move it? Mm, mm. The simple act of moving is pretty weird. That I can just move it and nothing basically happens of besides that this moves. So there has to be more to it than we think is. That is. Because if it was just moving, then let's be serious, that wouldn't be really normal, even. Because I'm not supposed to be able to move this. Yet I am able to move this, therefore, how am I doing that? I know that you might not understand what I'm saying. Therefore, imagine like dragons. But seriously, imagine water, let's say. Things can move in it because they apply force and it pushes them back, let's say. Hmm. It's really hard to describe because it's like an intuition. You just know it, but you can't say it. Oh, or like imagine even force applied. When I do that, force from this hand meets this, let's say, wall or something, and gets transferred to this wall. And because the force is greater than the need of energy to move this wall, it's moved. If it wasn't, then I could hit it as many times as I want, but it would stay in place. Yes, I know that it moves, but that's besides. I mean, if you really want me, I can punch this. See, it isn't moving. It isn't moving. Because the force is not enough to cause it to move. Therefore, there has to be something that allows things to move. There has to be something so small that we cannot perceive it, but in which it can be like applied or something. Therefore, I personally think that the universe is in some kind of hmm, how do I say this? Uh, Editor, put this here because I really cannot describe it. So now that you see that, I that's how I see this. So that there are these balls, let's say, which are connected through dark matter, dark energy. And to move from one place to another, you need to spend energy, let's say. It's very small, I do not know what size it is, but it's very small and it allows the movement. It also explains why do you lose energy while traveling. Because I don't know if you know, but if you thrown a ball in the empty space, it would stop moving after so much time. It would stop moving because it lost all the energy. Even if there was no gravity, no air, no anything to affect it, then it would lose energy. Therefore, it has to spend something that it makes it lose energy. And I think that dark energy is the answer. I do not have a name for that, so I just be calling it dark energy. And this dark energy, hmm, how do I say it? It's really hard for me to say my thoughts now, really. And so that energy is spent on moving. And from where does come the energy? When you apply force, then the moving thing still has that energy. So from like me applying energy to this, it's spent to move. So it has to be converted to dark energy so it could move. But hmm, I really don't know how to say this. I mean, it's so complicated to explain when you. Hmm, there are also so many questions like, then what is speed? And how much energy does it take? I mean, it explains why things move. It explains why bigger things need more energy than smaller, and why denser need more energy than lighter to move. But then there is a question. What is speed then? Because it's just jumping from one place to another. Let's say, per se. The only thing that I can say that this isn't infinitely small, because otherwise the speed would be infinite. But would still yield a finite result. Therefore it cannot be. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments. I really need them because eh, my theory is kinda weak. And I need questions to develop it, so if you have any, please drop them down in the comments. I'll try to explain them or at least solve them to know more. And no, I'm not yet ending this video, so it also explains why can the curve of space, why can space-time be curved? Yes, I'm bad at speaking English. How do you know that? Besides, how does it explain? Well, it's pretty simple actually, because it because it's like on a rope. It can be extended. That's how you say in English, or can be shrunk, something like that. Therefore, it can also be molded, changed in some way. Oh, I have an idea. So instead of that, there are two kinds of space. One in which matter, energy, and all these other things can move, and second, in which the space itself can move. Yes, I know that I'm complicating this, but this is the only way that it makes sense and explains the problems. So there is one space in which like allows me to move my hand. Without it, I would be frozen. Haha, very funny. Just because I didn't say anything about you, editor, does not mean that you have to. Wait, what is. Oh, right. And the second one is for that space which can move, which can allow movement. It allows the first space to move in it. So basically, it allows gravity to work. I don't know. Just to have these two different, let's call one normal or just space and the other dark space. Space allows things to move. Dark space allows things to affect, let's say. It allows gravity to work its thing. And maybe even other, but that's way too much for today, so I think I'd leave it at that. I basically explained how it looks, and If you have any ideas, drop them down in the comments. It can be ideas, questions, anything. Just write them down. I really need them. And somewhere here should appear the video about dark matter, so you might as well check it out so you learn a bit more. You click on it? Okay, I don't know, so that's all going to be for today. And next time is going to be about mathematics. Man, I hope I could really get more popular because it's so boring when you know that no one is watching your videos. It's so demotivating, but eh, I might as well do it because I can. So, see you in the next one. Bye.